The freestyle has 4 main components: the stroke, breathing, the kick, and body position. First, the stroke. Extend your arm as far forward as possible and have your hand enter the water at a 45-degree angle. When pulling your arm through the water, try and maximize the area of your hand and arm that pushes against the water. This is your catch, and the more area your catch covers, the further forward you'll go with each stroke. It's important to rotate your body as you stroke. This rotation allows for a smooth flow through the water and puts you in a good position to breathe. Generally, shoot to take a breath every 3 strokes. Simply rotate your head towards the surface of the water, touch your ear to your shoulder, then breathe in. This technique is known as bilateral breathing. Next, the kick. In freestyle, you use what's called a flutter kick. Keep your toes pointed and your kicks nice and tight. Small, fast kicks generate more power than large, wide kicks. Finally, maintain proper body alignment by keeping your head facing downwards. This position allows you to clearly view the lane markings while encouraging your hips to float to the water's surface, thus increasing your hydrodynamics. Freestyle may be a very common stroke, but one that takes time and practice to truly master.
Don't think of your freestyle as just pulling with your arms and kicking with your feet. You have to have it all together. And your core, your body core or torso, is what ties everything together. And it's the center of everything you're doing in this stroke. So when I look at someone and I want to say, okay, what's this swimmer doing in freestyle and how can I improve it? The first thing I look is at their body position and see what's going on there, because that's the key.
The backstroke has 3 main components: body position, the kick, and the stroke. Backstroke is swum, unsurprisingly, while on your back, with your back, hips, and shoulders near the surface of the water. Head position is critical to a good backstroke. Keep your ears slightly underwater and your head facing upwards. Next, the kick. The backstroke utilizes a flutter kick. Small, tight kicks like these maintain your balance while propelling you forward. Now for the stroke. When swimming, bring your arms straight back over your head. When your hand is directly above your head, angle your arm so that your pinky finger enters the water first. Once your arm is in the water, bend your elbow like so and push toward your legs. This motion propels you forward and begins resetting for the next stroke. Remember, it's important to rotate your shoulders during your stroke and roll your body from side to side. This improves your hydrodynamics and helps prevent injuries.
The first step to improving your backstroke swimming technique is to focus on your body positioning. A streamlined body position will allow you to move through the water faster, while the rotation of your hips will help you generate more power. Keep your body as flat as possible in a straight line with your hips at the surface of the water. Keep your head still, avoiding side to side and up and down movements. This will help you achieve the most efficient body position. To gain more power in your stroke, ensure your hips rotate around your central core. Keep your back as flat as possible, pulling your stomach in. Visualize pulling your belly button in towards your spine. Your head should be in a neutral position, in line with your spine. Your natural eye line will depend on your body's buoyancy in the water, but aim to look at the ceiling with a gap between your chin and chest. To gain more power in your stroke, link your hip and shoulder rotation with the hand entry of your lead hand and the push phase of your opposite hand. Fins can be used as a training aid to help keep your hips high in the water and provide a feeling of speed. Ryan has excellent shoulder lift on the arm recovery, which is aided by powerful hip rotation. Learn how to improve your backstroke stroke technique for a faster, more efficient swim. A faster arm stroke doesn't always improve your swimming speed. Longer, efficient strokes are always better than shorter, aggressive movements. Your hand entry should be relaxed and in line with your shoulder, with your little finger entering the water first. Your hand continues to travel downwards until the opposite shoulder rotates out of the water. The depth that your hand travels to will depend on your strength, stability, and feel for the water. As your hand flexes, rotate your elbow into an inverted high elbow position to allow the palm of your hand to face towards your feet. Your fingers must be pointed out to the side of the pool to maintain the inverted high elbow and good leverage on the water. Moving into the pull phase of the arm stroke, your powerful chest and shoulder muscles take over and should start to pull the water downwards in the direction of your feet, initiating your propulsion. Keep your palm facing towards your feet, with your wrist fixed and in line with your forearm, whilst maintaining an inverted high elbow. The elbow bend at this stage can be up to 90 degrees, but what you achieve is dependent on your strength, flexibility, and stability in the stroke. Maintaining the pressure on the water, your hand should accelerate past your hips as your arm straightens in time with your hip rotation. This is the most powerful and propulsive section of the stroke cycle and coincides with the opposite arm recovery. When viewed from beneath, your hand path will be a shallow S shape as it moves through the stroke. This should feel natural and shouldn't be forced. The recovery phase starts as your hand leaves the water at your hip. The most efficient way is to exit the water with your thumb or back of the hand first, depending on your preference. This will be shoulder-led, initiated by the rotation of your hips. On the first part of the recovery, your hand must be relaxed and in line with your shoulder, with the arm perpendicular to the water surface pointing up to the ceiling. To maintain an effective body rotation, ensure that your armpit is clear of the water on your recovering arm. The second part of the recovery is initiated as your hips rotate back to the other side and coincides with your palm rotating outwards and dropping into the water, little finger first. Your arm should enter the water in line with your shoulder, keeping it close to your head. Timing of the arm stroke is important to consider for an effective stroke. As one hand enters the water, the opposite hand exits, which coincides with the hip rotation within the stroke cycle. Power paddles or finger paddles can be used to help you focus on improving the positioning of your hands as they enter the water. Finger paddles are useful for helping you focus on an efficient catch and pull phase, encouraging you to keep your fingers and elbow in the correct position. Due to his excellent body rotation, Ryan has a deep and powerful stroke with great acceleration past his hips.
The breaststroke is comprised of four main parts: the stroke, breathing, the kick, and the glide. Start your stroke with the tops of your hands facing each other like so. Next, open your arms outwards while bending your elbows slightly. Finally, sweep them downwards, bringing your hands close together by your armpits before shooting them forwards. Your arms' inward position also provides the force you'll need to get your upper body out of the water for a breath. Do the frog kick with your hips floating at the top of the water by bending your knees inward slightly, opening your legs out to the sides like so, then snapping them shut. The glide then follows immediately afterwards. It uses the momentum of your kick and the streamlined body position to cut through the water. A good glide takes place almost entirely underwater. Though it may be the slowest of the strokes, master the breaststroke and you'll have amazing endurance in the water.
push off like you normally would in a streamlined position, we start by completely separating the pull and the kick in breaststroke. While you pull with your arms, hold your legs together like so. After your hands reach this streamlined position, initiate the kick. Using this drill will help work on your timing will help your kick and your stroke work most efficiently together.
The body line we want to see in breaststroke is horizontal. We want to have a straight line at the end of the recovery phase from the fingertips through the head and shoulders, the hips, all the way through the toes. When you're in this position, you're creating the least amount of drag and you're maximizing all of the forces of the pull and the kick in the forward phase of the stroke. One of the things that we look for in teaching swimmers the correct fundamental position of breaststroke, which is this horizontal position, is a dry back. We want to see from the back of the head all the way to the hips, not covered in water, but dry. And if you're in this position, you're going to be right on the surface. You're going to be able to achieve maximum forward speed.
The butterfly is one of swimming's most difficult strokes and one of its most respected. It has four main components: the kick, the stroke, breathing, and body position. First, the kick. The dolphin kick used during butterfly should start in your chest, flow through your hips, and finish in a downward thrust of your feet, making sure they stay together. For your stroke, drag your arms through the water in an S-shaped motion like so. Next, lift your arms out of the water with the backs of your hands facing forward at a slight angle. Finally, extend your arms straight forward and rest your hands on top of the water. Make sure you don't slap them down, and you want to repeat this. As a rule of thumb, do 2 kicks for every pull. Breathing during the stroke can be especially tricky. Use your pull and your kick in tandem to give you the power you need to get your upper body out of the water. Finally, body position. Though difficult, your body position should be kept as horizontal as possible to keep your frontal resistance to a minimum. Keep your shoulders level throughout and your head facing down. The crest of your head should lead the way until you lift it when it's time to breathe. What you want to do is push off in your streamlined position. Keep your right arm extended and take 3 strokes with your left arm only. After the 3rd stroke, keep your left arm extended and take 3 more, right arm only. At the completion of 3, take both arms together for 3 strokes, and you'll want to repeat that for the rest of the lap. When you're doing this, you want to really make sure that you're trying to keep your 2 kicks for every arm cycle. And if you work on this, you're going to notice results almost immediately.